Handle. This is the third video of us writing queries in a very simple and easy to understand manner. Let's dive in. Before starting, we will be initiating a query which will help the workbench understand which dataset are we using. So we will be using this dataset. Let's look into the first question. Find the total number of employees in employee table. Okay, we need to find the count of how many employees are there in employee table. In order to find the count, we'll be using count function, and as we have already discussed, for all, as you can see, we'll be using hashtag to specify we are counting all the employees. And let us look in this manner as from employee table. If you run this query, you will be getting output as in this form. So let's give a name to the table, name to the column. Total employee. If we this is thing which is called as alias, giving a name to any particular column. You can give any particular name, else the function value will itself be shown on the column. So that's the reason we used a name to this particular function. We are counting all the values and we are naming it as total employees, naming the column as total employees. Next, we are finding the average salary of employees. Okay, we will be what all we need. We will first we need salary. Let us look in a very basic manner. Okay. If you look, we will be getting all the salaries of these employees. But is it task? Task is to find the average salary. So we'll just inculcate the function, aggregate function, which is average here. Let us look. Same thing, it is been showing as average, and the sum and the output is been coming with a multiple decimal factors. So let's correct this out. Let's round it up and let's give a name as average salary. Let's execute it. So yeah, the average of all the salaries is 70,500. Even the output has been rounded to the max number without any decimal values, and even the column number has been changed. Let's look into the next one. Show the highest and lowest salary of employee table. Okay. Eh, Highest. What in order to get highest, what does highest comes closer to? Maximum salary can be said as highest. So we'll be using max function and we'll give the name of the column as highest salary. Next, what we need to find? Lowest. Okay, lowest will be minimum. So we'll be using minimum function. We'll be naming it as lowest salary from the employee table. If we execute this query, this is the value will be. Again, you can round the same value if you want. You just need to apply the same. If you don't want to have any decimal values, you can execute the query and it will be giving the exact value to it. From the outline, when you look at it from a hindsight, the query might be visibly bit large, but if you break down the entire concept of it, what exactly you are willing to see. Now, when we read it, we are finding the maximum salary and we are naming it as highest salary. We are finding a minimum the lowest salary and we are naming it as the lowest salary. From which table are we picking this values? As we are picking it from employee table. This is the query which has been placed as an output of it. Why are we rounding it? As it is also giving a decimal values. In order to not get decimal values in the output, we are rounding the maximum in one value. That's how we read any query when we are executing it. What's the next question? Count how many employees are in each city. Okay. There are two things over here. We need to find total employees and we also need to find in which city. So what is the first thing we will look? We'll take city, and this we already did. In order to count, we'll be using counting all the employees, giving the name of that column as total employees, as we are taking this as from the employee table. We'll be using it from employee table. Next, this is the new thing. We are grouping it by city. What is the reason for grouping by? If you look here, if okay, let's not group it. Let's look what output we get. We'll be not getting any output because first what we are saying that we are asking the workbench to identify the city, and based on the city we are asking to count how many employees are there. And if for example, how will the system read? it will go to the city column first. Let me show you with an example. Select all from employee. So if you look here, here we have cities and here we have employees. What it will count for Hyderabad? The system will go to the Hyderabad city column first. It will look how many cities are unique, like Hyderabad and Hyderabad. There are twice. How many employees are there from the same city? It will count. Okay, it will not take name as a unique ID. It will not take employee as a unique ID. It will take city as a unique ID and try to compress the count based upon the city. Like, okay, Hyderabad, how many people? Two people. But in order to group it, in order to collate these cities in a singular format, like if Goa has been repeated multiple times, as here Hyderabad is getting repeated multiple times, in order to club these two values as a single value, in order to add it up, we need to group the entire column based upon the city value. That is the reason if you group by city, let us look what the output looks like. See, this is how the output looks like. Entire city column will be categorized as a unique at distinct value, and based upon those the calculation or the count will be done. Initially we were doing the count based upon just the employee values, only single count in a similar column. But as two different columns are being placed here, as city is a different column and count of all the employees is from different column, that's the reason in order to get a collated value, in order to get a relevant value between the city and the employees, we will be using a function called as group by function. Without this group by, we won't be getting any outputs for this. Hope this makes sense. If there is any particular further clarity needed in that regard, please feel free to paste it in comments. I'll be happy to help. Uh, show cities having more than two employees. Okay, again, we are using city over here. We'll be using city. Again, we are counting all the employees and we are naming as total employees from which table, from employees table, and as we have already discussed, group by city. So let's try to execute it. We'll be getting the same query which clearly shows that every particular city, how many employees are residing in those particular city. But what is the condition, what is the thing which has been asked? Show cities having more than, okay, let's take having more than one employee. Okay, the word itself indicate having. So let us take, we are applying a second layer of filter. Group by is already a compression thing. In order to apply a filter to those, we can't use where over here. There is an order of sequence in SQL where can't come post group by. So here we will be using having what is the condition? Having the count, because this is the count of all employee should be greater than 1. If we execute the query, this is the output which we get. That's it for today. If there are any particular doubts in any particular query, please post it in comments. I'll be reading all the comments and I'll be trying to provide the necessary help and assistance if needed. Please like the video, smash the subscribe button and comment your doubts. Thank you for watching.